EQP Contracts, a sua consultoria boutique.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. I am Aggie da Silva, the Sales Director for North America for EQP. You see it right here. EQP, and we're going to be talking about it a lot. And I want to let you know that today is a very special day for EQP because it's the first live podcast that we are making for the operation in the United States involving Canada and Mexico. So this is our international community. This is going to happen every single month. Once a month, at least once a month, we're going to have our live podcast where we're going to be inviting some people, some customers, people who have had the experience with EQP before, and some of them will be a surprise. Some of them you already know maybe, but we still got a lot to talk about. And our first guest today is a very, very special person. She's a Strategic Operations Advisor for EQP North America. She has most of the answers for some of the questions that our customers around the globe normally asks us, or they normally ask us, okay? So I am inviting now Gabriela Themer, who is right now in the Netherlands. It's 1:00 in the morning. And, she made herself available to participate in this first interview. And I'm inviting now Gabriela to join us for this interview. How are you doing, Gabe? Can I call you Gabe?
Yes, for sure. Good night. I want to, at first, thank you for inviting me and having me today, Aggie. Thank you so much.
You're very, very welcome. It's a pleasure, Gabe. For Gabe, before we talk about business or anything, I know that you're a Strategic Operations Advisor for EQP North America. And one of the reasons why we invited you for this first conversation and this first live podcast we're having today is because you have the answer for most of the questions that our customers ask. And of course, this is a great opportunity for us to talk about it. Before we talk about business, why don't we talk about Gabe first? Who is Gabe Themer? Tell us about yourself.
I am a Brazilian, currently living in the Netherlands with my husband. We've been here for almost 2 years now. And I can say that living here has been a great opportunity that is allowing us to explore new cultures and enjoy a different pace of life. Professionally speaking, I have over 15 years of experience in strategic planning and project management across several industries. And at this very moment, the reason that we are here today, as we just said, I am leading EQP's expansion into the North American market, a challenge that I am approaching with great enthusiasm and a lot of dedication.
Wow, that's good. Good, Gabe. Very, very good. Now, Gabe, tell us a little bit about this immersion. How is it going? Of course, you are being prepared for this new role in the company because that was not the role you had before, I understand. But now that you have this new role, can you tell us a little bit about your training, how you are being prepared for this challenge and how do you plan to face it?
This immersion has been going on for almost 2 years too, and it has been very rewarding so far. I am undergoing intensive training, covering everything from EQP's culture, process, services, and ongoing projects. And I think I can assure that this process is allowing me to gain a deep understanding of our clients' needs and how we can best meet them.
Oh, okay. Can you tell us a little bit about EQP? I think our audience is very curious to know what does exactly, what is EQP? What exactly does the company do? In what countries are we operating today?
EQP is a boutique consulting company specialized in third-party and contract management. Our journey began in 1990 as a productivity consulting firm, and in 2006, we took on the challenge of remodeling the entire contract management process for Vale.
Uh-huh.
Vale, we all know, right?
The mining company, right?
Yeah, yes, for sure.
It's a huge company in everywhere in the world. I mean, I think they're big in Brazil, right?
Yes.
And is that exactly considered to be our first project? Vale is considered to be our first project?
Our first project, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's quite interesting. Very good. Anything else related to that? Because then I want to ask you another question. I have some questions that also people have sent me and say, these are some of the questions that you should ask Gabe because it's very important. And that's something we would like to know. But you said when you compare EQP, I mean, tell us a little bit more about EQP. So what are we doing today? What is our challenge in North America? How do you visualize this challenge in North America? And how different is this market for us right now compared to your previous experience? Tell us a little bit about it.
I believe it's important to reinforce that for 14 years, we have focused exclusively on third-party and contract management. Mm-hmm. And our results ratify our expertise. And this expertise has given us the confidence that we need to expand into North America now. At first, we targeted the sectors that we have the most expertise, that are mining, oil and gas, and agribusiness. But we know that we are more than ready to operate in other industries as well, and especially considering the potential that the American market can bring to us.
So you would say that every company that has third-party contracts to management would be potential customers to us or good prospects for our business?
I think I can say that companies that have an important annual spend with third-party contract is a potential company to implement the contract management department.
Very good. Is there a number, for example, let's say that the level of third parties operation is like 60%, 50%? I mean, is that a company already that has a potential to become one of our customers? Or, I mean, when it's 20%, it probably will not be that important or that significant, right? So they got to have a high level of third parties relationship or something like this, or no?
We usually say that to determine if a contract management department is suitable, we need to evaluate the volume, the financial amounts, and the complexity of the contracts, as well as general risks, especially when we have contracts that involve staff management.
I like that. That's very interesting.
We don't like to set a number, but with all this information, if the results shows that the potential savings are significant, then the investment in a CMD is justified and beneficial.
Very interesting, Gabe. Very interesting. Now, Gabe, tell us something. What is the major difference between EQP and other companies that could probably provide the same kind of service, if there is one company that provides the same kind of service? What is the real difference? If you had to pick one or a couple of differences that really differentiates the company or the QP company, our company today, from other consulting companies?
Our experience has shown us that how we do things is as important as what we deliver. This belief ensures the longevity and the success of our projects. Additionally, our proximity and availability to our clients guarantee exceptional service and long-lasting relationships. We truly believe that this personal approach allow us to deliver not only outstanding results, but also a level of trust and collaboration that sets us apart from other consulting companies.
Very good. I want to talk about these results a little bit further down, because there are some questions for people that send me questions that I should ask, and one of them is related to those results. Now, can you explain, one of the questions that somebody sent me here says, can you ask her to explain what is exactly the EQP solution for contract management? What is exactly that? Can you expand that a little bit so that our audience can really understand what that is and what that means?
Our solution provides a strategic oversight from the initial need to contract termination, covering all phases of the contract lifecycle. Many people mistakenly think that the contract is the written agreement itself, but our approach is much more comprehensive than that. Our contract management department standardizes contract management and interfaces with the managers and all administrative areas, providing an integrated approach. Our methodology is anchored in 4 key pillars that I would like to mention, that I think it can help me to explain what is our solution. The first one is contracting only what is required. The second pillar is customizing standard contracts. The third one is ensuring contract service delivery. And the last one, the fourth pillar, is paying only for services rendered. I know that these pillars may seem quite obvious, but they aren't always followed. I can say that most of the time, the companies don't follow all these.
I think we have lost her. Tiago, have we lost her? She's probably coming back, huh? We had a little bit technical issue right now. We lost Gabe maybe for a couple of minutes. She might be having some challenges with her internet, but let's give her a couple of minutes and she'll be right back. She mentioned about the 4 pillars. I made a note here. She said that the first pillar is contracting only what is required. You mentioned that. We lost her here, so I was saying that we were going to give you a couple of minutes. I was repeating the pillars that you mentioned, okay?
Okay.
I made a note here. You mentioned about the first pillar, which is contracting only what is required.
Yes.
Can you expand that a little bit? Then I would like to expand the second and the third and the fourth pillar. I found very interesting the 4 pillars concept. You said the first one is contracting only what is required. So what do you mean exactly by that?
I mean that we will ensure that scopes and SLAs are aligned to only contract what is really necessary.
Very good. I like that. Now, the second one you mentioned is cutting edge contracts. What do you mean by cutting edge contracts? Why this pillar is so important?
Because this one focuses on creating, not creating, but tailoring standard agreements to specific requirements. We all know that companies has their standard contracts, but we already know that sometimes some service that we need some guarantees or a specific drafts.
Yep.
So we need to tailor these. We need to customize standard contracts. It is very important to do that.
Very good. So let's talk about the third pillar. And you mentioned that the third pillar is ensuring contracts, services, delivery. I think that the title already explains it a little bit by itself, but I want you to expand that.
Here we are talking about a rigorous operational management for timely and reliable service delivery.
Wow, that's very, very interesting. Very good. Now, the fourth one and the last one, which I made a note here, and I want you to expand that as well. You says paying only for services rendered. Expand that a little bit.
This pillar emphasizes prudent financial management to ensure payments match the services provided for that company.
That's interesting. Now, tell us a little bit. Is it a software or is it not a software? What is exactly this 4 pillars operations or whatever we do that relates to the 4 pillars that you mentioned? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
I will, if I have a yes or no question, it is yes and no. We do have a contract management system that integrates into our solution, but this is optional. Sometimes the client already has a system. So it integrates, but it's not what we are talking. I think we are talking here about our core solution today, that is the contract management department. I think it's important to clarify that it is a whole department with new process and well-defined roles and responsibilities.
Very good. Now, so we do have a software that we can also use, or we can integrate. You said that there's a system that we have. It interfaces with other systems or other operational systems, though the communication or IT systems that the client might have. For example, an SAP, right?
Yes.
So it does interface.
Interfaces, yes.
Very good. So we do interface. Now, when we do not use the software, is because you said the customer doesn't want it or it's not interested. They already have their system. So what our role becomes in this situation? I mean, as we're not going to use our system, what is exactly our role when we do this kind of job?
We are going to implement a value chain, EQP's value chain. And what is that? It's a set of process that covers everything from planning to demobilization. So it's a department with process that in this department, I think I can say that the main responsibility of this department is to interface between the manager and all the areas that are involved on that specific contract. Okay,
very interesting. All right, very good. Now, another question that was sent to me. EQP contributes with situations related to liability, certifying, and claims reduction. Can you explain that a little bit? Because I know that the names have a lot of meaning, But we always have to consider, as far as EQP is concerned, what does exactly that mean, right?
Yes. Our solution significantly reduces liability coverage costs by enhancing the contractual obligations.
That's interesting.
Decreasing the risk of legal suits. Statistics show that 1 out of 4 commercial contracts result in 1 or more claims. Claims are costly, we all know. They may cause delays in fulfilling contractual deliverables and jeopardize commercial relationship. But the good news is that these claims are completely avoidable. And our solution really minimizes the frequency of these claims. For example, in Brazil, we are constantly hired because our solution, our model, works as a certificate of regularity and compliance for commercial agreements, reducing the risk for the client and increasing the value of the service provider.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So we will have that same capability in North America or just in Brazil? Do you think in North America will be able to have that same capability?
For sure. I think it's one of the most important aspect or result that our solution can help the American market.
Very good. Now, we're going to talk a little bit now about results. Of course, that I understand that the EQP job in North America is not just to make people happy. All right, even though our customers are happy, but the main objective or the main purpose of the jobs we're going to be delivering in North America for sure has a lot to do with results, right?
Yes.
Okay, what kind of results do we really deliver to our customers, and what are the results? I will change that question a little bit, the format of the question. I say, will we be capable of delivering those same results in North America as we have done it with the rest of the world?
I think I can. No, I don't think. I can guarantee that we can.
Okay.
And the first result that I would like to mention is that our expertise comes from the 108 contract management departments we have implemented so far.
Wow,
so
that's a lot, quite a lot, huh?
I think it's an important result to
108.
mention.
You said 108.
108, yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Even though the financial outcomes are not our primary target, they are a consistent consequence. And we have, our projects have generated over $1 billion in savings.
Wow, $1 billion in savings.
$1 billion in savings.
That's a lot of money.
A lot of money too, yes. And the other number that I would like to mention is that we achieved around 4% reduction in contract expenditures.
4% reduction. Okay.
Yes.
That's also a lot. I mean, 4% of expenditures reduction is quite a lot. If you spend $2 billion a year,
it's an important number, right?
That's an important number, right? 4% of $2 billion. I will be fine with 4% of $2 billion. Wouldn't you?
Oh, for sure. More than happy.
More than happy, right?
More than happy.
Are we up all night to be happy, right? Like the music says.
Yes. It's also worth mentioning, Aggie, that these savings are not a one-time occurrence. And what I mean is that the client will continue to capture savings over time.
Wow. And how do you think the retaining of our services in terms of adherence remain after many years? So let's say that we go to a job right now, a mining company in Canada, for example, and we do this project, we do this delivery, we do this contract management implementation and everything. What is the adherence, or what the adherence you can measure, like after 8-10 years that we passed by or we've been there?
We have this number, and it's 85% of adherence. Yeah, very high.
After 10 years?
After 10 years.
Wow, that's pretty high.
Yes.
Because it's a retainer kind of thing, right? I mean, the companies really retain the information, the technology, keep making the savings every year. I mean, so if that is kind of adherence, the savings remain for many years ahead, right?
Yes, we are talking, while we are implementing the CMD, we can capture, of course, the financial opportunities as we absorb the contractors, but this process doesn't stop when the implementation ends. The companies will have new contracts, and the process will continue to be improved, ensuring ongoing savings. So all the methodology that we implemented in the companies ensure that these savings will continue to happen.
All right, that's great. Now, of course, making this implementation and implementing and installing all these concepts in a company, it's not an easy task, right? So we certainly might have a lot of challenges. Can you tell us a little bit about what are the challenges that EQP really faces when implementing this in the organizations or in the companies, in our customers where we have done a job?
The major challenges are related to people.
Related to people, as usual, right?
Yes, which is why we place a significant emphasis on this aspect. And another challenge is the resistance to change, because our solution will not just make things different. People need to ask some questions, need to let me rephrase it. This resistance to change are both in behavior and in adopting this new process that we are talking about.
These are the major, both
yes, both. Yes. We are very pleased when we hear our clients saying that they implemented the CMD with EQP's support, meaning that they are the major player and we are the supporting partner. It's really important that the client be the ownership.
They take the ownership for the job.
Yeah, they need to take the ownership. It's very, very important to us. And despite these challenges, we are confident because our structured approach and our experienced team allow us to overcome these obstacles smoothly.
That's interesting. So of course it's quite a challenge. I do sympathize with that, because I mean there's no easy job. I mean, when people say you guys have an easy job, right? And it's not that. It's not that. But so let me ask you a question. What would you talked a lot about CMD, which I understand is the abbreviation for Contract Management Department, right?
Right.
tell us a little bit, what are the main characteristics of these CMDs that we implement in the organizations? Can you expand that a little bit for our audience?
They include both support and governance and compliance. By support, I mean assisting with operational activities, and by governance and compliance, I mean ensuring that all designed process and procedures are followed correctly. We say that the CMD is the guardian of standards and procedures to guarantee compliance. So it's really important, both roles, right?
Mm-hmm. Very good. Very interesting. I'll tell you at the end of this interview, I'll tell you the reasons why. Also, those questions are so important for myself. Now, okay. this process, all this kind of approach that we do, related to CMD, related to implementing all these changes in the organization. I know what the challenges are. It involves behavior aspects. It involves some resistance that you mentioned. Human resistance is very common, right? Yes. People sometimes don't like, depending on their profile, they don't like the changes. They like to maintain the status quo. So yes. Changing is quite a challenge also for some type of profiles and behavior. Now, I have a question here that was sent by one of our customers, and they wanted to say, not a customer, but our prospect. They wanted to know this process applies to one specific type of company, or it varies. I mean, it's broader. It can cover all sizes of companies, all different companies. I mean, what are the limits there? And what are the limits, and what are the kind of good prospects or those companies that really would be a good potential customer of ours?
The company needs to have a significant annual spend on third-party contractors.
Okay.
I think I already mentioned that, but if the company has an important annual expend, so that 4% that we talked about is going to be more interesting. So the investment in a CMD is justified and beneficial. So I don't like to say that we have just big companies and things like this. I prefer to say that the company needs to have a significant annual spend. And then we can do this math with this 4% and
so it's going to vary on what they consider significant, right?
Yes.
Because some companies may say this is not so significant. Okay.
It is not
but
so
significant.
It
is significant for us. So we need you guys. All right. Very good. Now, there are a lot of challenges ahead of you right now, correct?
Yes.
Based on your perception. Yeah. Based on your perception, Gabe, what are the next challenges you'll be facing with this new role and this new, kind of position that you have at EQP at this moment? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
In order to best serve our clients, we have opened a company in the United States, in Florida, rather than just delivering projects from our headquarters in Brazil. And our next steps are to establish ourselves with the same reputation of excellence that we have, that we already have in South America. And we will do this by building strong local partnerships and maintaining our high standard of service and reliability.
Very good. So we not only, Adrienne Gibson is asking, how long does this implementation take?
Our projects are fully customized, so we need to understand each client's specific need. However, because we are talking about behavior change, we all know that this is not a quick process. But I believe that a reasonable time frame for implementation is around 10 months.
Around 10 months.
10 months, yes.
Okay, how many people would we use in one of those projects in average? Just ball figure, it doesn't have to be precise. That we would use to do a project like that in 10 months in a company. Presentially, I mean, everybody is on the floor there, right?
Around 5 to 10.
5 to 10.
Yes, around
Okay.
5 to 10.
And I have a question there too. Do we push the customer to hire new people to implement those CMDs, or we don't give them an additional cost for that kind of decision? Or how do we do that inside the organization? How do we get the people to be inside the new CMD that we have helped the customer to implement? How does that work?
Usually, the companies already has some people doing some of these tasks that we are going to centralize in the contract management department. So our first approach is to understand if they have these people inside, and if they don't, we need to hire, right? But usually we can rearrange the staff that already work in our clients.
Very good. I have another question for you. If we have given customers more than $1 billion in savings and results, what has been the return over investment? In other words, the customer invests in our job, in our project. What would be that ratio of return that we generally give the customer for the investment they make in our projects? A 3-to-1, a 4-to-1, or an average?
Around 4 times the initial investment.
Okay, so if they spend $500,000 with one of our projects, they were going to get at least $2 million back, right?
Yes.
That's not bad at all.
I think we are talking about great results, right?
It's a no-brainer, right?
I think so.
It's a no-brainer. I had this guy that came to my house, and he said, okay, we can put a solar panel on the top of your roof, and how much do you spend with your electric bill every month? I said, well, around $400. He said, what if we give you a solar panel and you reduce that by 50%? Instead of 400, you're going to be paying 50% of that. And I said, well, that's a no-brainer, right? I mean,
yes.
I can, and the government is subsidizing with low interest for the people in Florida that wants to implement the solar panels, subsidizing like a 1.5%, interest a year. And it's going to cost me like $8,000 to pay in 10 years if I want to. And I'm reducing my electric bill by 50%.
By 50%.
It's a no-brainer. Everybody would say, well, I said, I have nothing to think about, and the decision is made. So go ahead, put the panels up there, and it's true. I start saving my $400 bills, $400 a month. It went down to $200.
Wow.
So I think the principle that I see when you talk about the savings and return, and I just wanted to know a little bit more about the return of investment, because it's something that generally or normally the customers ask about. I think that's quite significant. It's, a 4 times, it's quite a number. Now, you and I will have a more intimate and closer conversation here. Gabby, how do you plan to help me here in the United States in the North American operation? What do you have in mind with this new challenges ahead of us?
I believe that we need to sell. To sell. The first thing that we need to do is to sell projects, right, Aggie?
Yes. Very good. And I know you're going to help me selling too. Because the moment,
I'll be happy to help you. You are the commercial guy, right? And I am going to be your operational support. So
that's what I wanted to know. That's what
yes.
So every time I need you, I'll ring a bell and I say, Gabi, Gabe, Gabi, as we say in Brazil, right? Yes. Gabe, I need your help. Can you participate in this meeting with this customer that we have in Canada right now that is very curious about the implementation of the 4 pillars that you have mentioned in your interview? Because the 4 pillars is something quite interesting. I really appreciated the way you presented it today. I really learned a lot from that. I think it's quite in a way you can explain the success of this project, because the 4 pillars are very, very important. And I know that you can help us a lot with the American operation. And I'm talking about the North American operation, because remember that we are covering United States, Canada, and Mexico. But before we move forward to another one, I know that North America is the new expansion of EQP at this moment. What are the other countries that we have done some jobs, internationally outside of Brazil? Could you mention a couple of them at least?
Yes, I think I didn't mention, but we already implemented CMDs in Brazil, of course, Chile, France, Norway,
France,
Mozambique,
Norway.
Yes.
Wow.
In all these countries, we already had.
Any country in Central America?
In Central America, I think so.
Okay.
My memory is not the best. My memory is not the best. In Central America, Aggie, I really don't remember. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. Don't worry. I think we did have somebody ask me a question about the companies, the countries in Central America, and I said I'm going to ask Gabe about that, because I couldn't remember also from the top of my head the moment the question was picked in.
Yes, I'm so sorry. I don't remember.
That's okay. No worries.
Sorry.
So I want you to know that I will need your help for sure. And we have a lot of challenges ahead of us. We have a lot to do. We have a lot of prospects, you know that North America is 25% of the world GNP, right? Just the United States itself. So it's 25% of the world GNP. That's a lot. So can you imagine the potential we have in North America? And I'm not even counting the Canada GNP and the Mexico GNP. Because if we put Canada and Mexico together, then we're talking about more than 33% of the world GNP. So that's the kind of challenge we are facing in this market. And I have to tell you, first of all, thank you very much for having accepted this invitation. I think it was very clarifying. I think we have a lot of questions from our audience that has come through. Some of them I made notes, some of them I asked. And I think this is exactly what we needed to understand and we needed to know. So I do appreciate the fact that you made yourself available at 1 o'clock in the morning in the Netherlands.
No, I'm still awake.
You're still awake. It's already too late. After this conversation, this interview, you probably should go to bed so that you can wake up in the morning and work again. But listen, Gabe, thank you for your time. Thank you for making yourself available for this conversation. I did appreciate it. And what can I say, right? You are incredible.
I have a last question for you.
Go ahead.
I want to know how excited are you about this challenge too?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I am extremely excited. I am very excited. I'm very excited because I love challenges. That's my profile, you know. So when I don't have challenge, life starts becoming very boring. You follow?
Yes.
And it becomes a little bit repetitive, you know, the same old same. So it repeats itself all the time. So I have to tell you, number one, I'm very excited. Number two is I'm excited because I love challenges. Number three is because I am staying home right now because, you know, this is the country that I took as my home. United States, where I'm living, is my home. So I think this is a great market. I know this market very, very well, including Canada and Mexico. I'm very familiar with those markets. And not only that, and I accepted the challenge for one simple reason as well, not only because of me, but because I do believe in EQP. I do believe in the product that EQP delivers. I do believe in the savings that we give our customers. And I do believe that what we do is important. It's great for the world. It's great for companies. And I think the major difference is we have to make a dent in the universe. And I think we do make that dent in the universe, you know. I always learn, Gabe, that there are two moments in your life that are most important moments of your life. Is the day that you are born and the day you discover why or what for. You have to have a purpose, right?
Yes.
And I do have a purpose ahead of me. So I do have this challenge. I do have a purpose. And I want to make this dent. I want to be remembered after many years. I want to be remembered as the guy who did started the operation in the United States, and we were very, very successful. I know that you know, success only comes before work in the dictionary.
Hard work, right?
Yeah. So there is a lot of work to be done, but I am very comfortable with the, you know, and I need people like you because I do not have the experience that you have. I do not have the background that you have, but I'm learning. And I'm learning with people like you that have this kind of knowledge. And I know that I will be successful because I can count on that expertise that you have. So I know that I can count on you. I can count on Louise. I can count on Bob. I can count on all the team, no, you know, that have that kind of a background that I do not have yet, but it takes a little while, but I will be there. But it's quite challenging. I'm happy for it. So that was a good question. I mean, you really tricked me here, but I think it was a fantastic question.
Yes, we are a team, right? So I think we are all excited about this challenge. And I really believe that we are going to be very successful on this journey.
So Gabe, let's make a dent in this universe, right?
Yes, let's do it.
Gabe, a big kiss for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. And I am here wherever you all need. I will be very happy to help, to sell projects and all of our solutions into the American market.
And let me give you a piece of advice right now. Go to bed.
I will.
Bye, Gabe. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you. Bye. Have a good night.
All right. Good night. Bye. Good sleep. And here we are. We did have this incredible person with us, Gabe Themer. She's one of our advisors. I mean, a strategical advisor for EQP North America. She has an incredible background, and we have a lot to learn from her. And she's always entailed with us in this challenge that we're facing at this moment, doing this job for our prospects and our customers in North America. This was a great opportunity to tell you a little bit more about EQP, about the challenges we face, about our product, about our delivery. This is our first live podcast, but remember, in 30 days from now, we're going to have the second one, and we'll all let you know. And we're inviting people back, or customers, or people who have had some experience with EQP somewhere in the world. It doesn't matter what they are. Maybe it's going to be like 12 hours difference like we had in Malaysia the other day. But at this moment, we have to face this live every month, bringing somebody who can talk about EQP, about their positive experience, and what is this incredible company called EQP. Thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you all in 30 days. Bye-bye.
EQP Contracts, a sua consultoria boutique.